Let's bring in Laura Westbrook with the South China Morning Post, who's live with us from Hong Kong. Laura, thank you to have you on the programme. I understand you've been speaking to people on the ship. What have they told you?
Yeah, I'm in touch with a couple of passengers on the Diamond Princess cruise ship. They're under a lot of mental stress at the moment. The person I spoke to, he's a doctor, so he's a dentist by training. And one of the things that he raised with me was that while the passengers are being quarantined on the ship, the crew members were still working, moving around the ship. And until recently, he said that people had been provided food on open trolleys, and only the hot meals were being covered with aluminium foil, but there was still a tea and coffee service. So he was concerned that if the food was uncovered, that this could impact the spread of the outbreak. So he and his wife decided not to eat any open containers. They're surviving on cup noodles and bottled water. And actually, the captain of the ship announced just yesterday that they are going to be getting food from outside the ship, from an organization outside the ship. So there is a lot of uncertainty on the ship. There's a lot of concern amongst the passengers. It's obviously the biggest cluster of the coronavirus outside mainland China. But Dr. Lam, who I spoke to, he's going to be among some of the Hong Kongers who are going to be on these chartered flights, which are leaving Japan early on Thursday. But then when they come to Hong Kong, they're going to be quarantined for another 14 days over here.
So if that's how the authorities are approaching that particular cruise ship, what about the broader challenge of the coronavirus in Hong Kong? What kind of restrictions are in place at the moment?
So a lot of people are working from home, schools are shut. The government announced a 25 billion Hong Kong dollar fund to help tackle this crisis, which is going towards retailers. It's also going towards subsidizing businesses to produce more masks, because that was one of the criticisms of the government in handling this crisis. People said that they were a bit too slow, and that the government itself admitted that it only had enough masks for 2 months for itself. And unlike Singapore and Taiwan, people in Hong Kong are having to buy their own masks. In the neighborhood that I live in, I see queues in pharmacies every day of people trying to buy masks, which used to cost a few dollars, now cost $100, and people are spending their own money to buy those masks and buy hand sanitizer as well.
Laura, we appreciate the update. Thank you very much indeed. There's Laura Westbrook from the South China Morning Post, and there's much more information on the coronavirus via the BBC News website. bbc.com/news is the address.